I'm Narelle Todd.
And I'm Essie Susan Smith.
We are the self-publishing author and marketing duo that has sold over 2 million books. But we didn't start out knowing how to sell books. Fast forward past many failed promotions and a lot of lessons learned, you will see how we went from self-publishing newbies to hitting the New York Times bestsellers list and making the USA Today bestsellers list 19 times and counting. We created the Get My Book Out There podcast to give you simple yet effective marketing strategies to increase readership and book sales, so you know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, as well as some tips for staying mentally and physically well.
Let's get started.
We wanted to talk to you today about business models in authorland, and that there are 4 main business models. And we wanted to share a little bit about each one of those, just so you're aware what they are, how they work, and which one actually fits for you. So Susan, you're like, your bookcases behind you are just like full of books.
Yeah, it's like it's pushing me forward into the screen. If they could really see what's behind this, then they would see what the real life of an author is like.
You mean it's not glamorous? Oh no.
No, I could tell. I can honestly say the other day I had stuff spread out. I had actually moved from my office to my bedroom, and I had the whole bed was covered with stuff that I was working on. And my daughter, who was working in the office, she came in, and I just looked up at her and I said, people have no idea just how glamorous this life is. And she just died laughing when she, because we were like doing all this stuff, getting ready for a convention. So it was just like total chaos.
Yes. Yeah.
Boxes are everywhere.
Exactly. And what that kind of organization and stuff looks like for many authors, it could be different depending on the business model that they're actually going with.
It is.
Which is what we wanted to have a chat about. So people probably are most aware, and our first one is the traditional publishing model, where you submit your story to publishing house and they say, yes, we want it, or no. And then, they take over from there and they kind of look after everything. Would that be how you would describe it in 10 words or less?
I would say that was the old traditional model. The new traditional model is where you've written a book and submitted it and they've accepted it, and you may or may not get an advance, and they may or may not print it, and you don't make very much money generally, unless you're one of the outliers that we've talked about. But when it comes to marketing, now it's almost like they don't want to know. They won't even look at you unless you've got a certain number of people following you on different social media platforms. And you've got to be willing to do a lot of the marketing yourself. You've got to be willing to buy the books yourself. So there's a lot less. They used to do everything for you. Now it's they take the book and they take the money, but you've got to do most of the other stuff. So that's the new traditional.
Yeah. You need to be able to market your book in traditional. Yeah. Whereas, as you say before, that wasn't necessarily the case. They would look after a lot of that for you. Yes. Yeah, not so much these days. So that's the traditional model. We then have a model called the hybrid model, which is a bit of a mix between traditional and self-publish. So talk us through the hybrid model. How do you know if you're in a hybrid model?
Well, a hybrid model is usually where you do have a publisher. So you could be writing one series with a traditional publishing company or with a small press, and they're handling, again, some of the marketing. You may have gotten an advance for your book, or you may not have, but they're still doing a little bit more than what you will be doing. And then the other part of the hybrid is where you may have a second series that you're actually self-publishing. So they kind of complement each other in that, you can say, yes, I'm a traditionally published author where I'm not making any money, and I'm an indie author where I'm making money. That kind of thing. So but it kind of mixes the best of both worlds. If you're really lucky and you started out with, say, the traditional publishing, and they did give you some marketing, then you have readers that may have followed you because of that marketing that you were exposed to in the hybrid and the traditional side, that come over and read your stuff in the indie. And, we're finding more and more authors who have done that, who have been traditional and they're moving to indie, or they're still, partially traditional and they're now doing indie, and they're able to bring some of those, that marketing that they're getting, that exposure from the traditional side to help boost them on their indie side.
Yes, and vice versa, because they could be doing things, in self-publishing that they may not be allowed, or that the publishing house is not interested in doing.
Exactly.
So, readers can go backwards and forwards. So it's a win-win for both if you're doing it right.
Yeah, and you have to understand with the traditional, you're more likely as an author to be told what they want you to write, and then you've got to produce. And, so they could tell you they want XYZ and they want it this way. And yes, they'll pay for the cover art. You probably have no say in that. They'll pay for the editing. You'll have no say in that. You just have to do what the editors say. And then they'll do the marketing, and you'll maybe a little marketing. It depends. You may end up in a bookstore. You may not. They may only want ebook rights, or they could want both. You also need to look, are they wanting all your foreign rights? Are they wanting your audio rights? Are they wanting your film rights? So these are all things that, we talked about contracts. Read your contract very, very carefully and find out, is there an exit in this contract so that you can exit out if you find that they're keeping one book on the shelf and they're not selling anything, but you can't get the rights back and you're not making any money on this series. Where you've got the indie, you have total control. You are the publishing company. You find the cover, you approve the cover, you approve the editing, you approve all the marketing, and you can say, do I want to do foreign? Do I want to do audio? Do I want to do film? That's all under your control. You keep those rights. And of course, because you're keeping those rights, you also keep the royalties from it.
Traditionally, being that people have seen going traditional as a way of just being a writer, as in, the trad house looks after everything else. All you need to do is focus on your writing and just, write and release, and they look after everything. Yes. And we know that that's not the case. So in every writer's life, no matter which of these 4 options you go with as to how you're going to publish, you do need to be involved in marketing. You need to know how to market, and you need to know how to run your business. Those are the things you're not going to get away from, no matter which model you go with. So just be aware of that. Things have changed in all of publishing. You need to know how to market yourself and market your stories, no matter what model you choose here.
Yeah, it's not just writing the book, it's also everything else that goes with it.
Yeah.
And then, so the third model would be completely indie. I think that's the one that you were going to talk about.
Yeah, so self-publishing with Kindle, and our 4th is self-publishing wide. So there's 2 different business models, and people often think or approach them the same, but actually it's different strategies. There's all sorts of differences in there. So anyway, I'll let you get on with that one.
Well, I'll start it, and then I'll let you jump in, because this is definitely your area, specialty. So the last 2 are, you've got the indie publishing, and that means you are publishing everything. You are the boss. You have all rights. You control your material for everything. But if you divide it in half, you've got, what she was saying was Kindle. She meant Kindle Unlimited. So that's KU. And that's where you are exclusive with Amazon. And then the other half is where you are wide. So you can be indie Kindle Unlimited. That means Amazon exclusive, or you could be indie wide, which means you distribute through all of the distributors, the major ones, and some of the others that you may not have heard of, like, Smashwords and D2T, Draft to Digital, that's D2D, Kobo, Storytel, Apple, Barnes and Noble, Publish Drive, Streetlib, so the list keeps growing.
Yes.
So Narelle, break us down with the 2 different business models for that.
So when you're in Kindle Unlimited, there are certain strategies. So your focus is purely on Amazon. You've given exclusivity to Amazon, and part of that deal is that Amazon are going to give you some more love, of course, because that's why you would be exclusive with them. So you tend to find that KU books feature more prominently in bestseller, the list that Amazon do, they get promoted or recommended more often, the KU books. So there are certain things that Amazon do for you when you go with Kindle Unlimited. So that's the bonus. The thing that works against you is that you're only on Kindle. So readers need to come, or only on Amazon. So readers need to be on Amazon in order to buy your books.
And all your eggs are in one basket.
Yes. Yeah. And
They've
like with
given them
any
control of it.
Yes, with any business, Amazon can change things overnight. We could all wake up one day and they've said, well, KU's not for us anymore. We're going to go with a different model. Here it is. Take it or leave it. So there are certainly, pluses and minuses.
They have done that.
Yes, there is a history of that happening. And look, that's okay, because businesses do that. Businesses need to change and adapt. So once again, you just need to be aware. This is about not saying that one particular business model is better for you or is better than the other. It's really about you being aware that there are these 4 models out there and seeing which one works best for you, and then doing your research so that you know what you're actually getting into and what the expectations are. With Kindle Unlimited, there are obviously advantages because Amazon, is huge and they're going to throw extra love at you than if you were not with KU. So the other one,
understand the payout, and you'll need to understand, what the page reads are, and and the competition. That because of this, there's a lot more competition. I think I read recently that there was like 901,000 books now in, Amazon. So, and the majority of those are, I think 51% or something like that are in Kindle Unlimited. So you're going to be dealing with, 450,000 books if you're focusing just on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah, and there's plenty of services out there that promote KU as the way to wealth and, as a great side income or a hustle or, a good for your hobby. So there are more and more authors who are joining KU as a way to make quick money. And you do need to understand what's in the terms of service. Yes. So things around, how long does the book need to be in there? What else can you do with the book, which pretty much isn't. You have to, you've given exclusive rights to Amazon and you need to honor that. You need to understand what the terms of service say that you can and can't do with your book. It also means that even though you're in KU, you still probably need to run Amazon ads. It's not like it's a, release and forget. You still need to market. You still need to do all the sorts of things that you do to build a business despite being in KU. So this is not a way for you to go, I don't want to be bothered with marketing. Every author, no matter what business model you're in, needs to understand marketing and understand business growth.
Yes.
But don't go into it just because of that reason. There are advantages, as we talked about. You can do some countdown deals. Amazon have different things accessible to KU that aren't available to authors who publish wide and publish on Amazon as part of that. So they can't access those sorts of deals. But that's all part of the exclusivity of KU. So just be aware of that. Know that your marketing is going to look a bit different when you are doing KU, simply because you are only focused on Amazon. So you really need to understand the Amazon ecosystem and how it works and how people buy on Amazon. It's a little bit different to if you were wide, which of course leads us to the 4th one, which is if you do publish wide. And once again, this is ideal for people who want to spread their books out so they're not reliant on just one store. The negative is it does mean you don't get some of the advantages that you would if you were with KU on Amazon, but it also means that you get to have your books wider locations. You would get to reach readers that you would not in KU. And a lot of the other bookstores, Kobo have a really good promotional program. If you can get into Apple, they have one as well. So the other stores are also wanting to have their readers accessing new stories, and they want their authors to be successful. Otherwise, you're not going to stay with them. So, it's in their best interests to have you be successful. So there's lots of promos that you can do on the different wide stores. Make advantage of those, take advantage of them, make sure you enroll in them regularly. So when you are looking at your marketing for when you're wide, it's different. There's some things that are the same as if you're in KU, but there's also other things that you're going to be doing that are different. You are the one that drives it when you're wide. To a certain extent, Amazon drives KU because of the algorithm and the love they give you. When you're wide, you need to generate that kind of, the virality. You need to get the action happening. You need to get people engaged. You need to go find people. Now, Amazon will recommend you. If you're wide, don't think that they don't. They will, but you need to show Amazon that you've got readers who are following you, who want to engage with you, who want to read your stories. So for you, if you're wide, you need to really master your marketing. So invest in yourself, invest in your marketing so that you really can tap into that and tap into readers across the board. And look, one of the advantages is if something happens and KU morphs into something else, or if KU stops or something, you're ahead of the game because you've got the skills. You've got mad skills around marketing because you had to develop them in order to grow your business. So, see it as an advantage that you've developed that marketing muscle. Don't shy away from it. Marketing is not scary. I think the more fun you can make marketing, the more that you engage with it yourself. And when you're in your marketing, people respond to that. So have a look through, we've got heaps of other podcasts that we've done around marketing techniques and tactics and all those sorts of things. Have a look through those and just pull out the tactics that will work for you where you are at this moment in time. And depending on what business model that you're using.
And, one of the things about being wide is you're also distributing the liability, I think, or, the areas that there could be a breakdown. For example, and it doesn't happen often. I think it's only happened a couple of times, but say you're dependent on the income that you get from Amazon and something happens and their pay doesn't come through at the end of that month, and you're dependent on that to pay all your bills and what your income is, and you don't get a paycheck and something in their computer system goes down. And we've seen this where it's gone down. There was some that, it was like 2 or 3 weeks before they got paid. They got paid, but it was delayed by, like 3 weeks. And, if you have other areas of income coming in, then that can generally be enough to help cover your costs, at least so that you're not having, credit cards that didn't go paid, or, your electric bill if you depend on it. You're also reaching more readers because, like you said, there are some people that don't like to buy from Amazon, that prefer to buy from, Kobo or Barnes & Noble or Apple, so there's a lot of other ways, and a lot of these distributors have their own stores. So this is a way to help bring in additional income that, you're not fighting for quite the same competition that's in Amazon right now. Because when you're in Amazon, if you've got 901,000 books that you're competing against, and, half of them are KU and half of them are wide, that's still 901,000 books. And, so you're trying to get above that noise. And one way to keep growing is spread the love out there. Coke doesn't just sell to one spot, or, Nike doesn't just sell in one store. They spread out. You don't have certain stores only in one place.
Yeah.
The bigger stores, they've spread out through cities. And the reason that they've done that is because it gives them more visibility and more access to customers. So think of wide as being your Starbucks that have popped up everywhere. You want to be everywhere. And it's kind of hard to do that when you're exclusive. Yeah. So that's my 2 bits on it.
Yes. And I think when you're exclusive with Amazon and bad stuff happens, it can be catastrophic for your business. And we've seen it a number of times with different authors where they've actually had their account suspended. And
books taken down.
Yes, they still don't, they still to this day don't know why their account was suspended. They're ethical. They were doing all the right things. They weren't breaching, as far as they knew, terms of service. Nothing, they could share that would even indicate something like that. So that can happen. Yes, books, just thinking of a couple of occasions where books in release week just have disappeared.
Yes.
And people have lost, authors lost their income for that month. And you know how many books people buy on release.
Yes.
So it can really impact, if something goes wrong, it can really impact your business when you're only in one place. So there are pluses and minuses to each one of the 4 business models that we've showed you. And all I would say to you would be, go and have a look at each one and then decide which one you want to go with, which one are you more comfortable with. But just know that whichever one you go with, you do need to understand marketing. You can't get away from that. So if you're looking for that, I think that's the holy grail for authors. It's not possible. So,
there's actually a 5th model.
Is
that
there?
we
What's
didn't
that?
mention.
Whoops.
And that 5th model is actually hybrid indie,
Oh, yes,
where if you're like me and you have a lot of different series, you may decide to put one or more series in KU for a while,
Yes.
have the others wide, and then you generally have to be in KU for 90 days,
Yeah.
then pull those books out and put them wide again. So there are some people that will actually, do maybe the first 90 days wide on KU only,
Yep.
and then take them out and do them wide after that. So, that's actually a 5th possibility if you've got a number of books and in your backlog or
Yeah.
back matter, or what do they call them?
Backlist.
Backlist. I knew it was
Yeah.
a back something or other. So but if you have, to me, every book is a brand new release, because I always think of it as a book that somebody out there has not read yet. So it's like a
Yeah.
brand new release to them.
Yes.
But if you have your backlist and you decide, okay, I'm going to put this series in to KU, keep the rest wide. This way you can also do test and measurement to see, how you're doing, but you're also getting exposure to those KU readers who may say, oh, I fell in love with this author and I'm willing to buy their books when they come out, or there are other books that are not in KU.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's, again, understanding the readers also that are going to be following you, because, some readers are KU only and I'm not going to read your books unless they're in KU.
Yeah.
Or, when are you going to, you may get letters, emails saying, when are you going to put all your books in KU? And then you have to explain that's not part of my business model. So, you have to understand also that you could have other author or readers that are wide, that are on Barnes and Noble or Apple or Kobo, and they're coming to you and they're like, I want to read your books, but you're only on Amazon. Don't you care about us? So you've really got to do a lot of creative marketing. You've got to reassure the readers that if these books are in KU, that, no, you're not putting all of your books in KU, and let your other readers know they're only in there for 90 days, then they will be coming out and going to you.
Yes. And a great resource, because it does depend on genres as to what sells better in KU and then wide. So a great resource is a report like K-Lytics.
Yes.
And they step through, and every month they produce a new report on different genre, and they'll actually show you what the spread is or the split is in sales with regards to KU and non-KU on Amazon. It's just looking at Amazon. But that's a good place to go to have a look and see, for your genre, is KU something you would even want to consider? And, the numbers may show that that's the perfect place for you to go. But by having that data there, you can make that kind of informed decision. So, your 3-month inclusion with KU, you go in with a bit of certainty rather than just going, oh, this might work, this might not work, and you're stuck, for 3 months because you're actually in a genre that's not going to sell.
Yes. Yeah. So like you said,
good point.
Do your research, find out which one fits your business model the best. You may want to test and measure it, and, but get a feel and talk to some of the more experienced authors, because they can tell you, the difficulties if you're been in KU, taking your books wide, because sometimes the other distributors don't like the fact that you took them all down and put them in there for a while and then bring them back. So, you don't want to upset the apple cart too much, but this is all about business. It's all about test and measuring and finding out what's good for you.
Yes. So go be informed, first of all, and know that marketing is going to happen no matter what business model you go with. So you're just going to have to suck it up if you don't like marketing. Marketing is part of how you're going to grow your business.
Read your terms of service.
Yes, read the terms of service for anything you go into. It doesn't matter which model you choose, always read the terms of service. Yeah. and then make your decision and then just go 100%. You have to commit fully to whichever decision you make as to which business model you want to go with.
Yay, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Rightio. Well, get out there, look at your business model, go sell some more books and flex that marketing muscle, okay?
And don't forget to come back and find out some more great tips from us.
Absolutely. We're always here.
Bye, everyone.
Rightio. See ya.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. You know we've got way more information we want to share with you to increase your book sales. So please come and join me at facebook.com. Get my book out there.